Well, I'm excited. This weekend we kick off a brand new series talking about relationships. And we see in Scripture that relationships are valuable. They're important from the very beginning. We know in Genesis, in the book of Genesis, it says that God created man and saw it wasn't fit for man to be alone and created a companion. Then in the New Testament, Jesus came along and said, hey, all of the laws you have from the Old Testament, the greatest law is this, to love God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. For those of us who claim to follow Jesus, we recognize as we approach the topic of relationships that it's God's relationship with us is primary, but also it's important to recognize that God has a plan for the secondary relationships in our life. Now, I also know this. Whenever we talk about a series like relationships, there's a little bit of hesitation in the room. It feels like you're going to marriage counseling a little bit. Like one person's really too excited for the relationship series. The other's going, whatever you do, please don't talk about, right? So we're going to talk about that throughout the series. This series, we're going to talk about single, dating, marriage. It's not just for one group of people. We believe this series is going to help all of us move forward. And here's the reason why. For honest, nobody in the room, nobody watching us online is an expert in the area of relationships. Most of us have tried to either model what was seen in our lives and go, okay, I'll try to live out that example, or you've gone, whatever I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do that, right? But most of us have built it based off of a human perspective or a human picture. I believe God has a better picture and a better perspective for us. So what we're gonna do in this series is trade some bad strategies for some biblical ones. And this week, we're going to talk about a topic that exists in every single relationship of your life, in parental relationship, in a marriage relationship, in a dating relationship, in a coworker relationship. It is the topic that's most talked about in any relationship, and it's this: communication. Wow. I'm not going to look at who you're with. I know you're excited about that. No, but literally talking about communication is important because if we dial in what relationships, their greatest ability or their greatest hindrance usually lies in the area of communication. Now we know that God used communication to create everything that we see, hear, feel, and touch. It says in Genesis that when he decided to create the world, he used words. He used words. He would just simply say, let there be light, and there was. Yeah, you don't even have to know like the Bible to get that one, right? He created with his words. And then humans, when we want to shape what the world looks like or to move people forward today, we use words. I'm going to ask you, double dog, triple dog dare every person that calls Red Rocks Church home to do something. You ready? This week, I want you to find one person and intentionally and specifically encourage them. Because encouragement never happens by default. It happens through intentionality and with effort. But this week, if my words bring life or death, choose life. Plant seeds of life and watch it shift somebody's heart. We can do that this week.